We're going to do something from Here's My Card. It was called Hoffinser Card Pass to a Full Bottom Palm. What we're going to do is we're going to touch a card. So let's say they touch one right here. I'll show you the camera so you can see what it is, Jack of Spades. And we're going to out-jog the Jack of Spades so you can keep an eye on it. There it is, right there. I'm just going to square up the cards, lose that card in the pack. Anyway, the move's done. I've got a card in a full bottom palm. There it is, the Jack of Spades. Now let's go over the explanation on that. I'm going to do a convincing control. This is my variation of a move that Ed Marlowe showed me in '69, which he called convincing control. He had an up and down action, which I didn't like, so I worked this handling out. And what I do is I let a spectator touch a card. I stop when they touch a card. Let's say they touch there. And I just say this card right here, and I get a break under 2. So I push over an extra one, just square up, get a break under 2. I come up and I pick up a double here, and I show that card. Okay, now at this point, my finger comes right here, acts as a gauge, and I slide this card back, and then originally, of course, that just went down to the bottom of the deck. All right, now in this move, what we're going to do is use this action to allow you to get into a full shown. You come in, you do the convincing control. Now, underneath the spread, here's what happens now. You got plenty of cover. This just gets angled over lengthwise. That's what it looks like from the top. That's what it looks like underneath. You cleanly put that in the palm. It's already fully palm lying in there. All you have to do is square up, and it goes into a full bottom palm with, of course, your decoy sticking right out there in front. So Hoffinser bottom palm. Now, bottom palm is a great palm. So the reason why I think it's better than, let's say, a regular top palm or whatever, is you're totally covered. You know, you're in here in a palm position. You've got the deck sitting on top of it. You've got a view from this side. You got a view from the front. You got a view from this side. The move's totally covered. The only place where that palm is exposed is from the rear. So you can do this palm and basically rest assured that you're not going to get nailed with it. Okay, we're going to do a trick or a move from a book I wrote called The Esoterist back in '71. And let me just go ahead and do the move. It's a variation of the Kelly bottom replacement. Cards are riffled. Spectator says stop. Let's say they say stop right there. You show this card. Remember its position. Right there it is. Keep an eye on it. We'll lose it down in the deck. Anyway, at this point, we've got the card. Now, one of the moves that just makes me cringe is the original Kelly replacement. I mean, here's the original Kelly replacement. And what's wrong with it is the card is placed on the bottom of the pack. There's this awful 4-finger movement sitting in the front. And no matter how well or how fast you do this move, you see those fingers kick that card off to the side. Matter of fact, you could be several hundred feet away and you could nail somebody doing the Kelly bottom replacement. So when I worked this out, once again, my inspirational on this was Ed on his convincing control, was I didn't want any 4-finger movement. So here's what I do. A card is stopped at, selected. As these come down, I angle that card out slightly for the Vernon side glide. I want you to notice how this is angled right here. There's a little step on the rear. This step is going to allow me to push that selected card down in a minute. Okay, at this point, I've angled the card out and I do the side glide. I slide out the second. I out-jog that and I come over here. Now, I'm ready to do the move. Notice how I'm just lightly resting on that corner right here. At this point, my thumb pushes down. So I push down on that card. The fingers, there's no movement at all from the front of the deck. And I put, the card goes traveling to the bottom of the deck. Now let me, totally exposed. I do the side glide. My thumb pushes down. Keeping in mind there is no 4-finger movement at all as that card goes in. So it's a definite improvement over the original Kelly replacement. Okay, I'm going to do a variation of Ackerman varies Kelly. And this appeared in a set of lecture notes I did called Every Move a Move. Starts off exactly the same way. Spectator says stop. You show them the selected card. You go in, you out-jog the card. So there it is, and you go in. Anyway, what I've done is I've got a full bottom palm now of the selected card. There it is, in a full bottom palm. Let's go over the action here. So a card is, they say stop. You go through, you do Ackerman varies Kelly. So now this gets pushed down, but as you go in, you angle a little bit more. So this is over, a little bit farther than usual. Your left hand fingers open up so the card goes right into a bottom palm as you square up and shove that card in. And you got a full bottom palm of the selected card. Okay, now this is a convincing control that I worked out in the early 70s. It was in Here's My Card. All the convincing controls I've done so far have a weakness that the card gets switched out. So I wanted to figure out a convincing control where I could really have the selected card out-jogged. And I worked out this method. A card is touched, is selected. Now this time it is really out-jogged. So there, let's say we're going to go with the 10 of spades, and we're going to bury that down in the deck. Let's lose that down in the deck, and now it goes to the bottom. So it's the original result of the convincing control. Now here's the action on this. A card is touched. You actually out-jog, so it's a single card. We're not going to do a switch this time. Now as I show this card, what I've done in the left hand is I bevel this. Now, this gives it kind of a ledge that's going to allow me to slide that card down to the bottom of the deck. So you get a nice bevel. Now watch what happens. I set this down. My finger presses in right there very hard, and that card goes in. Now the illusion from the front is great. You got kind of like a reverse tilt. You press up on that card, it looks like it's right in the middle of the deck. You come in square, sending it down to the bottom of the deck. So that's called New Convincing Control from Here's My Card. I'm going to do a demonstration of a false deal. This appeared in the Mafia book back in 1970. I'm going to take the 4 aces and I'm going to lose them down into the center of the pack somewhere. So none of the aces are on bottom. None of the aces are on top, but they're lost somewhere in the center of the deck. And we're going to deal out a 5-handed game. So there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do a little center dealing here. So there come those aces right out of the center of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. That wasn't quite a center deal, but it was almost one. What I did was known as a Greek deal or a -1 bottom deal. And I used it as like a little demonstration for a center deal. I put the aces on top of the deck. I grab one extra card and I double cut them down to the bottom. So let's go over that again. I show the 4 aces. I say I'll leave them face up, get a break under one card, and then double cut them down to the bottom of the deck. Okay, now the situation is I got one face up card, the 4 face down aces, the rest of the deck face up. So I do a block spread and show, look at the aces aren't on the bottom, not on the top. Okay, now at this point what I do is I push out on that bottom card, so there's a step there. This forefinger catches that corner right there, and it leaves this bottom open. See that? I'm going to exaggerate it so you can see that's exaggerated. It leaves the bottom open, so my left hand is free to buckle that card, loosen it, so I can deal it right off the bottom of the deck. Okay, now I usually kind of give the deck a little bevel here to cover that step. So that's what it looks like from the top. I go along, I'm going to do the move in very slow motion so you can see it. I deal the top one straight because the less cards you have, the easier it is to do a bottom deal or a Greek deal. So now at this point, I get ready for the kick and I come out with that bottom card.